how can inspiration help us when we do experience conflict in our relationships? Conflict has a way of moving a relationship from a place of thriving to just barely surviving. And it's inevitable that all of our relationships are going to experience conflict at some point. And so it's not about not experiencing conflict, it's about how can we repair when conflict happens. How do we fix this when conflict happens? And how do we do that in the most helpful, thriving way? And so I really love this idea of inspiration and using it to help us when we are experiencing conflict. And there's many ways that this can be done, and maybe you have some ideas that you want to add. But here's just 2 quick ideas. I find that when I'm in a conflict with someone, that inspiration can help me keep looking for a solution. Inspiration, when I can offer inspiration, it provides hope for the relationship. It tells the other person that I am willing to stick it out until we find something that solves this problem. Remember, right? Inspiration provides hope to relationships in such a unique, wonderful, refreshing way. And so if I'm in conflict with someone, I want to be looking for ways to inspire them. And that's really difficult because when I'm hurt, it's not natural for me to want to help. When I'm hurt, it's very natural for me to want to be defensive, for me to want to protect myself, for me to want to hurt someone else. And inspiration is like counter to that. It's opposite of that. And so if I can remember to look for ways to inspire this other person during conflict, it really helps us keep looking for the solution. So, for example, maybe we are in conflict and I am looking for something to be inspired about or some way of offering inspiration. Maybe that simply comes by saying, you know what, I really thank you for talking calmly with me right now as we try to figure out this difficult thing. Maybe that's just the simple words that you can find, but that provides hope that you're willing to stick it out until a solution is found. Another quick one is pretty similar to the other idea, but inspiration keeps a relationship alive during conflict. Conflict has a way of killing a relationship. And maybe it's killed some of yours before. Maybe the conflict has gotten so bad that it's at the point where it can't be repaired. It's not redeemable. Now, I would like to think that most relationships are always redeemable, that there's always a way to repair and reconcile. It may not be the same as it was before. And that's not to say that all relationships should be. There are some relationships where, right, you should have good, healthy boundaries. And if the other person is not willing to choose to grow and be their best and help support you being in your best, then maybe it's not a healthy relationship to be in. But conflict has a way of just killing a relationship. It has a way of just sucking the life out of you and the other person. It has a way of deflating you that nothing else does. And so when we're in conflict, if we can use inspiration in the moments of conflict, I think it really helps keep a relationship alive. And so a simple way to do that is just continually express that you want the best for the other person. Continually stay open to listening to what they have to say. And then while you're doing that, you're continually reminding them that you want their best. And you want to stay with them. And you want to remain present until you can find a solution that's going to work for this conflict. So I think that is key, though, is if you can keep inspiring the person you're in a conflict with, it will keep that connection alive so that you can then solve the problem. This can be extremely beneficial at the onset of trying to solve and repair a conflict. Using inspiration at the beginning is really key to helping set the tone for how you're going to move forward. So if you can, before you start actually talking about the conflict, start speaking inspiring words to each other, that's really going to set the stage for how you can move forward. If you can come up with things that inspire you about the other person and share that, wow, wouldn't that be a different way of entering a conflict? And if you can then remember to hold those things throughout the conflict, wouldn't that help guide you as you walk through difficult conversations? Wouldn't that guide you as you start to feel your hurt more? Wouldn't that guide you as the disagreements pop up to remember, look, we have these anchor points. We have these signposts that keep guiding us in the right way. And the signposts are, I want your best. Maybe that's the words of inspiration that you say. Or the signposts are, thank you for being kind. So we're going to talk kind during this conversation. Thank you for not giving up on me. And so maybe that's it. So we realize, look, we're not giving up on this. We're not retreating. We're not going to use language that cuts off and stonewalls. So try this next time you find yourself in conflict. Maybe you start with inspiration. Maybe that's the beginning point so that you can end up in an inspiring place. Conflict can be very inspiring. It can really help your relationship grow. And think about using inspiring words to guide you along the path as you try to navigate solving your conflict.